Well, hello there, Danny. Welcome to today's lesson. We are going to be talking about fractions and percents, and of course, how to use an inch ruler, which I know that you already know how to do that, so hopefully it'll be pretty quick. Now, I want you to do your facts practice. It's going to be a throwback to test number A, your 64 multiplication facts. Time yourself, see how well you do. And then I want you to do mental math and problem solving all on your own, okay? The problem solving, I got to tell you, that one looks a little tricky. So see what you think of it, and I'll help you with it if you can't figure it out, but I'm sure you can. All right. Just pulled the door handle off. Safe to say it was as surprised as I was. Do you see the surprise? It's like, whoa, what did you just do? All right, let's jump right in. We are going to talk about the new concept of fractions and percents. I already know that you know this, so we'll be able to fly through it, and this will be a quick lesson for you. Obviously, if we look at this circle, 1/4 of the circle is shaded. The denominator represents all the different parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. The numerator represents the part that is shaded. And then you can also say that 3/4 of it is not shaded. So the numerator represents the part that is not shaded that time. Makes total sense, right? The other way I want you to think about it is if the whole circle represents 100%, you can divide 100% by 4, because there's 4 parts, to find the percent of the circle that is shaded. So if they gave you a circle like this and they said what percent is shaded, the whole thing would have to be 100%. But if you divide it by 4, just say 100% divided by 4, that is one of the shaded parts, and that's 25%. You can do it the other way too. If you divide it by 4, but you want the parts that are not shaded, you can say 75% of the circle is not shaded, right? And you're saying yes, because you know all of this already. Obviously, a fraction is 2 numbers, a numerator and a denominator, right? Okay, this is what this lesson is going over, and I know that you know all of this already. And then this line is the division bar. So just a quick review. The numerator is how many, the numerator shows how many parts have been selected. And the bottom, the denominator, is how many equal parts are in the whole. Okay, now, I know, you're like, are you kidding me, Mom? I know this is so easy. You probably also know that percents, you pretend that the denominator is 100. Anytime there's a percent, 25% means 25 over 100. If you want to do 37%, that means 37 over 100 or anything like that. You always assume that there's 100 parts when you're talking about percents. Okay, now, a whole number or a mixed number. A mixed number is just a whole number plus a fraction. So if you have a whole number plus a fraction, whole thing is called a mixed number. Okay, so a mixed number would be something like this. Look at these 3 circles. You've got 1 whole circle, 2 whole circles, that's this part of it, and then 3/4, that's this part of the number. Wake up, Danny. Okay, I know you know this, but wake up. Okay, what does this mean if it's a percent? What if this was a percent? If you had to say what percent is this, all 3 of these? Well, this is going to be 100%. This is going to be another 100%. And then this is going to be 75%. So all you do is you add that up, and it's going to be 275%. You can have percentages greater than 100%. And this is how you would do it. Okay, cool. So that might have been a new part of this lesson, right? Okay, come on. We're going to do example 1. Name the shaded part of the circle as a fraction and as a percent. All right, so as a fraction, easy peasy. What goes on the bottom? The denominator is how many different equal parts there are, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the denominator is going to be 5. What about the numerator? How many parts are represented? 1, 2, so it's going to be 2/5. Now, we also want to make that a percent, right? So how do we do that? This is the part where you might have to pay attention because it might be a little trickier. If we want to make it a percent, we know that the denominator has to be 100 or 100%. The whole circle is 100%. So then you go, how many different parts are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So divide 100 by 5, and what do you get? You get 20%. That means that each chunk is 20%. So let's do that. 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. All right, now you just add the parts that are shaded, 20% plus 20%. So this represents 40%. All right, easy peasy. 40% of it is shaded. Let's do example 2. Which of the following could describe the portion of this rectangle that is shaded? Okay, so look at the rectangle, and we're going to decide which of these answers, they gave us a multiple choice, which one could it be? Now, it looks like when I look at this, if I were to pick half, like if I were to say this is half full, where would I put the line? I would probably put it like right here. So it's more than half, but it's not the whole thing. And they're not equal. More than half is shaded. So it can't be A. It can't be A because A would be half and then half is shaded. So it can't be that one. Let's erase that. It's not A. Is it 40% or 60%? Well, let's look at half. Half would be here, okay? It looks like it's more than half. So this answer is less than half. This answer is more than half. So it's more likely that C is the correct answer. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Between points of a number line, let me draw a quick number line right here with a different color. So if you have a number line here, between the points of a number line, did I put them equally apart? No, I didn't. Let me fix that. Okay, now they're equally apart. So this area between the points on a number line represents fractions and mixed numbers. So when you look at the points on a number line, you first have to discover the number of segments that it's divided into, and then you can figure out what that mixed number is going to be. Let's do an example, and I think you'll get it. I know, you're super excited like that, right? So point A, that's right here, represents what mixed number on this number line? So here's the 8 and here's the 9. So we know the number is going to be between 8 and 9. So that tells us that the first part of the number is going to be an 8. The next part is going to be the fraction part. We have to add the fraction part to it. So to find the fraction, first you look at the number of segments between 8 and 9. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 segments. So I know that the fraction is going to be something over 5. And how far over did we go? 1, 2. So it's going to be 2 over 5. Remember that you're going to want to look at the segments, not just these numbers. If you start with that point, you'll get it wrong. So don't do the points. Just focus on the segments, and you'll get it right. So 8 and 2/5 is the correct answer. Okay. Now, an inch ruler, you know how to use a ruler, so I know I don't want you looking at me like this, like, come on, Mom, don't demoralize me like this. I know that you know how to use it, but they just want to point out that these are basically number lines. This is a number line, and using those segments and finding the mixed number in between is exactly what we just did. Just kind of pretend that it's a number line, right? So this is going to be 4.5 inches, right? Now, sometimes the rulers are not divided into halves. They're divided into smaller things like 16ths. So this is a zoomed in part of a ruler. So if we took 1 inch and 1 inch went from here to here, we are zoomed in. This whole thing is 1 inch. That would make this 1/2 inch. That would make this 3/4 of an inch. So you can see how zoomed in we are. but the measurements are down to 1/16 of an inch. All right, if you have a ruler like this that's really, really detailed and you're zoomed in, then you can take really, really good measurements. If the numbers are spread apart like this, look at this ruler. Okay, look at this ruler. Check this out. So you want to measure this segment from A to B, but your ruler looks like this, and these are inches. All you can say is it's more than 3 inches, but we don't know exactly how much more because there's not lines further down. So that's all we can say, is it's more than 3 inches. Same if we want to measure this one. If we want to measure CD, all you can say is it's less than 3 inches. So it's about, both of the segments are really close to 3 inches, so you could say they're both about 3 inches. But one way to describe it is you can say plus or minus 1/2 inch. What does that mean? It means it could be over all the way to 3.5, or it could be all the way under to 2.5. And you're going to be somewhere in that range, but you can't really measure it more precisely. You can measure it more precisely if you have a more precise ruler. So this one has more details because it has these segments here between 3 and 4. So if we look at this, we can say how many segments are there between 3 and 4? 1, 2, 3, 4 segments. So 4 is our denominator. We went 1 segment over to get to the B. This is 3 1/4 inch. Same thing here. We have 1, 2, 3. We went 3 out of 4 segments and we're about 2 3/4 of an inch. Now it becomes more precise because our ruler is more precise. All right. You still with me, or are you looking like this about now? Let's do example 4. It says use an inch ruler to find segment AB, segment BC, and segment AC. And the only thing here is you know that if you add AB plus BC, it's going to equal AC. So that's really the only point that they want to make, and they show you how to use a ruler to figure out what that segment length is, but I know you know how to use a ruler, so I'm not going to do it for you. Guess what? You get to go do your homework now. Yay, homework. Love it. Have a great day, Danny. Love you. Bye.